All right, so are you ready to tap into your primal side today?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're diving deep into animal flow workouts.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm always up for, trying these new fitness trends, but this one has me particularly intrigued.
Yeah.
We've got a bodybuilding blog that's touting all these benefits,
Okay.
a practical guide for beginners,
Mm-hmm.
and even a personal account of someone who committed to animal flow for a whole week.
Wow.
So should we ditch the dumbbells and embrace our inner beasts?
Let's find out.
Okay.
I think what's really interesting here is how animal flow seems to bridge the gap between this ancient movement wisdom
Yeah.
and modern fitness science,
I'll give that.
It's not just about mimicking animals.
Why?
It draws from yoga, gymnastics, and even martial arts.
Interesting.
It's a pretty unique blend.
So before we get too far, can we back up a bit?
Sure.
I get that it involves moving like animals.
Yeah.
But what exactly is animal flow?
At its core, it's a body weight training system.
Oh.
It emphasizes fluid dynamic movements that flow from one to the next.
I see.
You might be crawling like a crab,
Uh-huh.
then transitioning into a deep squat,
Yeah.
then reaching like a monkey.
Interesting.
It really keeps your body guessing.
Okay, I'm already picturing myself doing some seriously awkward moves in the park.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, you mentioned no equipment needed.
Right.
Does that mean it's just for beginners?
Well-
Could someone serious about building muscle really benefit from this?
Well, the bodybuilding blog we have actually makes a strong case for animal flow,
Okay.
even for experienced weightlifters.
Okay.
And you're right, it's accessible to all levels.
Yeah.
But don't let the simplicity fool you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these movements are incredibly challenging, even for elite athletes.
Okay, color me intrigued.
Yeah,
So what's all the hype about?
right.
What are some of the key benefits that have bodybuilders taking notice?
One of the biggest is improved range of motion. Think about it. Many traditional weightlifting exercises are very linear. You're moving in a single plane of motion.
Right.
But animal flow incorporates multiplanar movements,
Okay.
which means you're twisting, turning, reaching in all directions.
So I'm guessing that translates to better mobility and flexibility.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's not just good for feeling more limber.
Right.
It can actually enhance your performance in other exercises.
Interesting.
For example, the blog mentions how mastering moves like the active ape
Okay.
and lateral ape leaps
Huh.
can lead to better squats and deadlifts.
Wow.
It's all about improving the way your body moves as a whole.
Now that's what I call functional fitness.
Right.
And is that what they mean by animal flow?
Yeah.
That fluidity between movements?
Exactly.
I'm trying to imagine how all this fits together.
You're not isolating muscles.
Right.
You're working on integrated whole body movement.
Okay.
And that leads to another big benefit,
Okay.
improve balance and coordination. It's all about honing your proprioception.
Proprio what now?
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to break that down for me.
Sure.
And how does crawling around like a crab help with, say, not tripping over my own feet?
Think of proprioception as your body's internal GPS.
Okay.
It's that sense of where your limbs are in space
Yeah.
without having to look.
Right.
When you challenge yourself with animal flow's unusual movements, you're constantly refining that internal map,
I see.
improving your body awareness and coordination.
Okay. I can see how that would be helpful, especially as we get older
Yeah.
and our balance naturally declines.
Right.
And for someone like me who's prone to ankle sprains,
Yeah.
better proprioception could be a game changer.
Absolutely.
But what about strength?
Sure.
Can animal flow really build muscle?
It absolutely can.
Really?
You're using your own body weight for resistance, and many of the movements require serious core strength and stability. It's not about bulking up, but about developing functional strength that supports you in all aspects of life.
So while I might not get ripped doing animal flow,
Yeah.
I could end up with a rock-solid core.
Exactly.
Sign me up for that.
And the personal account we have really emphasizes that feeling of full body engagement.
Okay.
They describe the workouts as challenging, but
Yeah.
in a different way than traditional weightlifting.
Interesting.
It's more about endurance control and coordinating your movements.
Speaking of that personal account, the founder of Animal Flow, Mike Fitch, has this fascinating background.
Right.
Parkour, breakdancing, capoeira.
Very diverse.
How did all those disciplines merge into this unique workout style?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It seems like he was looking for a way to synthesize all his passions into a system that was both functional and creative.
I see that.
And it's not just about physical benefits.
Right.
The personal account also highlights a mental toughness aspect,
Okay.
holding those unusual positions, maintaining balance and pushing yourself through the flows.
Ah.
That takes focus and grit.
That's something I'm always looking for in a workout.
Yeah.
Not just physical challenge,
Right.
but also mental stimulation.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a sense of how animal flow might tick those boxes for me.
And it seems like that mental challenge also translates to a surprising sense of calm.
Okay.
The personal account writer talks about feeling more grounded and aware after their sessions,
Oh, wow.
almost like animal flow has a meditative quality.
Wait, meditative?
Yeah,
I thought we were talking about crawling around and unleashing our inner beasts.
right. It sounds counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but there's actually a growing body of research exploring the connection between meditative movement and cognitive function. Rhythmic mindful movement,
Right.
which is exactly what animal flow emphasizes,
Yeah.
can actually improve focus memory and overall mental clarity.
Okay, now that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious to explore that connection further.
Right.
But we're just scratching the surface here.
Sure.
Let's dive deeper into the specifics of animal flow.
Okay.
What are some of the actual exercises people can expect?
Well, welcome back to the deep dive. I'm excited to explore more of these exercises, especially since you mentioned that you're prone to ankle sprains.
Yes, that's definitely a weak point for me. I'm always looking for ways to improve my ankle stability. So tell me, how do these animal flow exercises actually translate to real-life situations?
Well, let's take the beast position, for example. You're on all fours, knees slightly wider than hip width apart, hands directly beneath your shoulders, really engaging your core.
Okay, I'm picturing it. It's like a starting point for a lot of the movements.
Exactly. From there, you can flow into various other positions like the beast reach we talked about earlier. You shift your weight forward, lift one leg, extend your arm and reach, really feeling that stretch through your hamstring and hip flexor.
I can see how that would challenge my balance and coordination. I'm already feeling a bit wobbly just thinking about it.
And that's the point. You're training your body to react to those subtle shifts in balance, strengthening the muscles around your ankles and improving your proprioception. It's like building a stronger foundation to prevent those ankle rolls.
So it's not just about mimicking animals, it's about understanding the biomechanics behind the movements and how they can benefit us.
Precisely. Each exercise has a purpose. For example, the crab reach strengthens your shoulders and upper back, while the ape movements improve hip mobility and core stability.
Speaking of the ape, that's one that really caught my eye. It looks so primal. What's going on there in terms of muscle engagement?
It's a fantastic full body exercise. Imagine yourself squatting low to the ground with your feet wider than shoulder width. Now you lean forward, keeping your back straight, and walk your hands out in front of you. You're engaging your quads, glutes, core, shoulders, and back. It's a real powerhouse move.
And I bet it works wonders for that deep squat mobility we were talking about. I can see why bodybuilders are incorporating this into their routines.
Absolutely. It's a great way to improve your range of motion and build functional strength. And it's scalable, too. Beginners can start with a less intense variation, while more advanced practitioners can add challenges like lifting one leg or reaching further.
It's funny. I was initially skeptical, but the more we talk about animal flow, the more it seems like the perfect complement to my current workout routine. I do a lot of strength training, but I've been neglecting my mobility and flexibility.
I think that's where animal flow shines for people who are already fit. It fills in those gaps, addressing those areas that traditional workouts often miss.
And the personal account we have backs that up. They talk about feeling more balanced both physically and mentally after incorporating animal flow into their routine.
Hmm?
I'm curious, what were some of the mental and emotional benefits they experienced?
They describe a sense of increased body awareness, like they were more in tune with how their body was moving and feeling throughout the day.
That's interesting. Is that connected to the improved proprioception we were talking about?
I think so. As you become more aware of your body and space, you naturally start to pay more attention to your posture, your movements, and even your breath.
It's like animal flow is training you to be more mindful in everyday life, not just during the workouts. And the writer also mentioned feeling more grounded and calm.
Yes. They found that the rhythmic flowing nature of the movements had a calming, almost meditative effect on their mind. And this actually aligns with the research we mentioned earlier about meditative movement and cognitive function.
So it's not just about physical fitness. It's about finding that mind-body connection. I have to admit, I'm really starting to see the appeal of animal flow, but it also sounds pretty challenging. What if you're not exactly the most coordinated person? Where do you even begin?
That's where the beginner guide comes in handy. It breaks down the foundational movements step by step with clear instructions and modifications for different levels.
So you don't have to be a gymnast or a breakdancer to get started.
Not at all. The key is to start slow focus on mastering the basic positions and gradually build up your strength and coordination. And remember, the personal account writer said they felt awkward and uncoordinated at first, too. It's a process.
I guess we all have to crawl before we can walk, or in this case, crab walk before we can ape swing. But what about the time commitment? I'm already juggling a busy schedule. How do you fit animal flow into an already packed day?
That's another great thing about it. You don't need a lot of time. You can squeeze in a 15-minute flow session at home, or even just incorporate a few movements into your existing workout routine.
So it's adaptable to different lifestyles and fitness levels.
Yeah.
I started to think there's really no excuse not to give this a try.
Exactly. And what's fascinating to me is that animal flow is not just a workout, it's almost a philosophy of movement, a way of reconnecting with our primal instincts and exploring the full potential of our bodies.
That's a great point. We've gone way beyond strength and flexibility here.
Yeah.
We're talking about mindfulness, body awareness, and even a sense of playfulness. It's like animal flow is giving us permission to move in ways we haven't moved since we were kids.
And that brings us to an interesting question. If our modern lifestyle has limited our movement vocabulary, what have we lost in the process?
I like where you're going with this. Let's delve into that.
Yeah.
Welcome back. I'm really pondering that question you posed about what we may have lost by limiting our movement vocabulary.
It's an intriguing idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it. Our ancestors were constantly squatting, crawling, climbing, carrying movement. Movement wasn't compartmentalized into like a 30-minute gym session.
Right.
It was woven into the fabric of their lives.
And not just for survival, right?
Yeah.
I mean, kids naturally gravitate towards those movements.
Absolutely.
They love to climb and swing, roll around.
Yeah.
It's pure instinctive joy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, we've lost touch with that innate pleasure in movement.
Right.
We've become so fixated on efficiency, on getting from point A to point B as quickly as possible.
So are you saying we've traded natural movement for convenience?
Yeah, I think so.
And in the process, maybe sacrifice some of our physical and mental well-being?
I think there's a strong argument to be made for that.
Yeah.
And it's not just about physical health.
Right.
Remember that sense of calm and mindfulness that the personal account writer described?
Yeah.
Could it be that by reconnecting with those primal movement patterns, we're also tapping into a deeper sense of connection?
Yeah.
To ourselves, to nature, to something bigger than ourselves.
That's a pretty profound thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when I'm hiking in the woods or swimming in the ocean, I feel this incredible sense of peace and aliveness.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like my whole being is in sync with the natural world.
Exactly. And animal flow, in its own way, seems to offer a similar experience.
Yeah.
It's not just about exercise. It's about exploring the full potential of our bodies, about rediscovering a way of moving that feels inherently good.
You know, all this talk about animal flow has got me thinking about my own fitness routine. I tend to get stuck in the same old patterns, running, lifting weights, the occasional yoga class.
Right.
Maybe I need to shake things up.
Yeah.
Inject a little more playfulness and variety into my workouts.
I think that's a fantastic idea, and it doesn't have to be a drastic overhaul.
Right.
Start by incorporating a few animal flow movements into your warm-up or cool-down.
Okay.
See how it feels?
Maybe I'll even try a beast reach next time I'm feeling stressed out at work.
Yeah.
Who knows? It might be more effective than a meditation app.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's all about finding what works for you.
Right.
And remember, the beauty of animal flow is that it's adaptable.
Yeah.
You can do it anywhere, anytime.
Right.
And you can tailor it to your own fitness level and goals.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Sure.
what's the one takeaway you want listeners to walk away with?
If our bodies evolved through movement, could reconnecting with those primal patterns unlock greater potential than we realize? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually.
It's powerful.
What would it look like to move through the world with more fluidity, more grace, more awareness?
Yeah.
I think animal flow offers a compelling invitation to explore those possibilities.
Beautifully said. So to all our listeners out there, we encourage you to give animal flow a try. See what happens when you unleash your inner animal and tap into the wisdom of your body's natural movements. You might just surprise yourself with what you discover. Until next time, keep exploring, keep moving, and keep diving deep.